Hi everyone and welcome back to The Rewind, the place where nostalgia is happiness revisited. Guys, thanks very much for joining me for this video today, and I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're taking very good care of yourself, because that's the most important thing. Now, I've been putting off this video for quite some time, but things have been changing around in the market, and I think it's time that we talk about the PlayStation 3. Now, the 2005 E3 launch is infamous at this point, and in hindsight it's my opinion that Sony was probably over-impressed with what they have created, and consumers probably not ready for it. I think what most people were expecting was just another console with upgraded graphics and better games. But what Sony created was not just a gaming console, it was a home entertainment unit. With 4 USB ports, a wireless remote, backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 1 and 2, and had the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market. Competition in the 7th generation of consoles was fierce, and Sony had already lost a lot of ground to Nintendo and Microsoft. So they had to course correct, bring down the price, and I think in hindsight it's probably the exclusives on the PlayStation 3 that really saved this console. Now, I'm a PlayStation fan, which is no secret. I owned a PlayStation 2 back in the day. I bought one recently, having a great time with it. And I own a PlayStation 4, which I've put countless hours on in the last decade. So instead of looking at the PlayStation 5, which is really a deterrent at this point because there's no games on the console and it's really expensive. So I looked to the past, and I never owned a PlayStation 3, so I don't really have that nostalgic connection to it. My brother had a PlayStation 3, I played a few of the games on there and I quite enjoyed it, but I never really had a relationship with the PlayStation 3. So I decided that I'm going to buy myself a PlayStation 3 and start collecting for it. Because something else in the market changed as well. The PlayStation 2 games were getting quite expensive, and I realized that some of the exclusives on the PlayStation had been ported onto the PlayStation 3 and HD collections, and there's a big library of collections out there of games that you might have missed on the PlayStation 2 and probably too expensive to buy now, so moving on to the PlayStation 3. So, in buying a PlayStation 3 there's 3 options. You have the Fat, the Slim and the Super Slim. Now for me the Fat console was probably the best option because it had the backwards compatibility, and I didn't need a PlayStation 2 if I had the Fat. But I was very concerned about the yellow light of death, and I know the later models are a little more reliable, but if I buy a PlayStation Fat now, how long will I be able to play it before I need to replace it? So the Fat model didn't really appeal to me. Then I looked at the Slim and the Super Slim. Now the Super Slim, I don't know, it just looks like the Atari. I played the Atari in the 80s, it was completely, yeah, that brown thing with the riffles in it. I mean, this PlayStation 3 Slim Super Slim just looks exactly like that. It looks cheap and not a very nice model. And then I decided I'll get myself the Slim. Now this is one of the most beautiful consoles that I've ever come across. Concerning the PlayStation 3, I mean, this is a beautiful console. And I didn't buy it on a second-hand market. So I bought it at a second-hand electronics store, specifically for the reason that I have a year's warranty on that console, so if something goes wrong I can just take it in and they will replace it. Basically my point is that I've really slowly started falling in love with the PlayStation 3, and it's just the games on there are just insane. I've been watching a lot of videos from YouTubers and just trying to get a sense of which games I should be looking out for. So I've really started my collection now because, as I said before, the PlayStation 2, the games are getting a little expensive. And I've realized that on our local market here, the prices on the games are really cheap. So when you buy a PlayStation 2, the console's quite cheap, but the games are quite expensive. And if you buy a PlayStation 3, it's probably double the price of the PlayStation 2 console, but the games are really cheap. I'm not too keen on looking on Marketplace for PlayStation 3 games. It's better to go out in the wild and go looking for them. The price is just a lot better. So I've kind of put my PlayStation 2 collecting on hold unless I find something that really appeals to me and the price is and the price is right. So I've really sort of fallen into collecting for the PlayStation 3. If you want to try out the console, you've never had the console, you had the console and you don't know what to play, just make some suggestions for games that you want to play. Games that really help me warm up to this console, and I'm playing it every night at the moment. And I'm not really bound to one specific game at this point. I'm just playing whatever I feel like, and I'm just having the greatest time. It's such a powerful and fantastic console. I also just I don't have the original PlayStation 3 remote. This is a third-party one. And the other night I realized it actually has the motion control, because some of the games on the PlayStation 3, especially in the early days, had sort of that, we had to tilt the remote to complete certain tasks in some of the games. I thought this one didn't have it, so I had to go look for a legit PlayStation 3 remote, and to my surprise, you know, this cheap one, it works the same way. It's great. Some of the buttons do get stuck a little bit, but that's not too much of a concern for me at the moment. Yeah, so that's a third party there. I know most gamers probably have a third party controller because they're just better suited for the gaming needs. I think PlayStation 3 probably didn't make the best remote of all their consoles, so yeah, that's something to keep in mind. If you do get a third party remote, it's probably the best option than the legit PlayStation remote. All right, so let's dig into some games. I think first thing when we're talking about the games that I have to say is I don't have a copy of it, but the Uncharted games goes without saying. If you're struggling to get into the PlayStation 3, I would that you go for Naughty Dog's Uncharted series. I know most people say Uncharted 2 is the best, and they're probably right. I think 2 and 3 are very close for me. I enjoyed the whole series actually. So I would suggest that you get the bundle, get all 3 games, play them in succession. You'll have a great time. I think Uncharted is just a perfect place to start. So first off, God of War 3. Yeah, what can you say about God of War 3? I played the remastered on the PlayStation 4, and I just picked up this copy because it's in great shape, very clean. I think it probably had like one owner, so that's my copy of God of War. Fantastic game. I mean, if you know God of War, then you know what I'm saying. It's an excellent game. So next up we have BioShock, the first BioShock. So BioShock, very good game. I remember when it came out on the Xbox, I had a friend show me this game and I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. So if you haven't played BioShock yet, there's BioShock 2 and BioShock Infinite on the PlayStation 3. I've only got the first BioShock. I really enjoy this game. It's crazy and the story is really good. Now, one of the first games I played on the PlayStation 3 was on my brother's console back in probably like, let's say, about 10 years ago. Batman Arkham City. I think this is probably one of the best games on the PlayStation 3. It's just like a Batman game. It's open world, and there's no other game that makes you feel like Batman like this game. I think it's superb, absolutely superb. I've also played the Arkham Asylum. It's a more linear type of game, but also very enjoyable. I've put a couple of hours into this. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm really enjoying this as well. I remember back in the day when the PlayStation 3 came out, just bought the DVD for The Dark Knight, and on that DVD was like pretty much the trailer for this game. So I've waited like decades to play this game, and you know, I wasn't disappointed at all. All right, so next up, a Star Wars game, Star Wars Force Unleashed. This sort of gives you the ability to go to the dark side of the Force in Star Wars. In all honesty, I haven't played this game before, so I'm just still on my backlog. I've sort of, you know, I was a big Star Wars fan when I was a kid, and it's sort of just, you know, with the release of the newer movies and all the spin-offs and all that stuff, it's really diluted the franchise for me, and it just doesn't feel the same. You know, I come from the days when the Return of the Jedi, you know, that was like, and Empire Strikes Back, and the original Star Wars movie was was at its peak, you know, continuous VHS releases of those bundles, you know, that's what I really was into. So I'm not really a Star Wars fan anymore, unfortunately. Just feel the brand has been, you know, it's been watered down and just shoved in our faces like constantly, you know. So when I bought the PlayStation 3, I also bought like a big collection from a lady who was looking to get rid of them. I got a really good price on them. Only thing was, there was a lot of first-person shooters. Now, I know the PlayStation 3 was the generation for first-person shooters, and I tried all those games, and, you know, it didn't really appeal to me. I'm more of a kind of PlayStation 2, Medal of Honor, Frontline kind of guy. I'm not really that into the first-person shooter, except BioShock. That was something different, and some other games that I'll show you guys just now. So I got rid of a lot of the Call of Duties and stuff like that. I'm just not a gaming genre that I'm really into. So I got rid of those games and sort of sold them off, and now just buying kind of stuff that I like, so that I'm really into. But talking about first-person shooters, I've heard a lot about this game, and I put it on the other day, and it's Killzone 2. You know, compared to all the other first-person shooters, that's like normal military shooters, this one, I don't know, there's something different about Killzone. Immediately, you know, you get a sense of the shit you're in, you know, and the kind of, it just really makes you feel like you're in a war zone. Killzone 2 is hectic, and it's great. I think this is probably one of the best first-person shooters on the console. All right, so next one is Heavenly Sword. This was released, I think, with the launch. So many people missed this. I spoke about God of War, and I think this game is right into that vein. It's really a really good game, really well made. It's about this lady who was supposed to be a man. Yuriko, I think, is her name, and so basically her clan protects the Heavenly Sword, and she takes up the sword and pretty much, you know, battles their enemies with the sword, but it comes with consequences. I'm not going to spoil that. You've probably heard what the story is all about. I really enjoyed this game. It also uses the motion control for some of the missions, so just be aware of that when you get this game. You're going to kind of need the remote to have the motion control. But yeah, very good game. There's a lot of exclusives on the PlayStation 3, which makes it nice to collect for. All right, so the next one is Medal of Honor. Now, I haven't actually played the official Medal of Honor on its disc. I heard that you know, not great reviews. Maybe I'll give it a try someday. What really fascinated me about was the Medal of Honor Frontline. So it's basically just like the game is included in this. So I hooked up the PlayStation 3, put the internet cable in, and I downloaded DLC on this disc. So I've got the original Medal of Honor Frontline, which is actually what I was going for with this one. Fantastic first-person shooter. I think it's probably the inspiration for Call of Duty. And so that game, I played it so many times, so many playthroughs, and I really enjoyed Medal of Honor Frontline. So that's pretty much why and that's what I'm saying, guys. You know, if there's some of the games that you can't find on PlayStation 2 at the moment, or, you know, it's too expensive, look for it on PlayStation 3. There's a lot of hidden gems on there, and there's a lot of exclusives and collections on the PlayStation 3 that you have to look out for. If you want hard copies of those games, or you just want those games, get them on the PlayStation 3. I don't think that makes that much of a difference. I think I've talked about this game already. It's Resident Evil 5. I found the steelbook for a great price. The CDs are in great condition. It's actually it's got two CDs. It's got the DVD, and it's got the game disc. I played through this with a friend of mine on the co-op. It's got a great co-op campaign, and I'm also playing through it on the single player, having a great time. I know this game probably gets a lot of flack being a Resident Evil game and not really having that horror element. But I think as a game, and if you've never played like a Resident Evil game, I think this is probably, you'll have fun with this. I think that's the most important thing. You'll have a lot of fun with this. It's in the Resident Evil vein, but also it doesn't have the horror elements, but it's still fun to play. Really fun to play. Alright, then another staple of the PlayStation 3 era is the Assassin's Creed games. I had Assassin's Creed 2. I'm not really into Assassin's Creed. I don't know, it's probably just me. I think I like the idea of it, and the stealth mechanics and the way the game plays, but the whole futuristic thing, putting the thing on your head and going back in time, I just feel that's really so unnecessary. But that's just me, you know. Just don't take that to heart. That's the reason probably why I haven't played it. I've heard that Assassin's Creed 4 is probably one of the better titles, so that's why I'm hanging on to this. I like the whole thing that it's on, you know, based on a pirate ship and stuff like that. So that sounds very attractive to me. So I'll hang on to this, and I'll play Assassin's Creed, and maybe that will get me into the franchise a little later on. And that's a great thing, guys. There's such a huge library of games that, you know, you can always go back and get a copy. They're cheap, like Assassin's Creed, and I'd say like the Uncharted games. They're really cheap, so you can pick them up, just store them somewhere, and someday, you know, you'll get down to it, to playing them. And I think with the digital copies sort of replacing everything now, you know, it's cool to have these games, hoard them for a time when you really feel like playing something different. Okay, so next up I've got Watchmen, part 1 and part 2. It's a action RPG, and it looks quite good. I haven't really played much of it, but I was thinking of maybe sort of doing a video on Watchmen, you know, just looking back at the Watchmen movie and the games. And there's a TV series also out now, and look at the graphic novel a little bit, sort of maybe do a video about that. I like Watchmen. I enjoyed Snyder's director's cut. I think it's a great film, actually. Probably came out at the wrong time. I think it was just sort of in the start of the superhero thing coming out. So I think Watchmen would be better suited, probably released 5 years ago, when we were still in that superhero frame of mind. But it's very interesting. I find Watchmen very interesting. And as for the game, yeah, it's fine. It's an action RPG. You play as Night Owl and Rorschach, and you just basically go around beating people up. Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty mindless game, but yeah, also fun if you're in the mood for something like that. All right, then I have Dead Space. Yeah, Dead Space is something different. I want to get the first one as well. I don't have the first one. I'll get the first one, definitely. Horror survival games in space. I mean, what more can I say? This is just, it's unnerving. It's really unnerving. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic game. Dead Space 2, definitely look out for that one. All right, so first-person shooters. I've sort of hung on to this. Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4. I haven't played it yet. I've played a bit of it, but like I said, I'm not really into the military shooters at this moment. You know, that could change over time, and that's probably why I've kept this. You know, I know this is a very, very popular game in the COD community, so I'll hang on to that and give it a try sometime. Play some Call of Duty. Okay, what's up next? Another first-person shooter, Borderlands 2. This is fun. This is such a fun game. Got the sleeve one, and it was also for a really good price. Borderlands 2, I think, is probably another first-person shooter that offers something different. I mean, it's a really zany, wacky world that you find yourself in, and it's just a lot of fun. It has a lot of fun elements, some great characters in there. Just another great game. I know this is rated as one of the top 10 games for PlayStation 3, but you know, I'm really, it's a lot of fun. That's all I can say about Borderlands. It's, if you're into this franchise, I really enjoyed this. This is really a lot of fun. All right, so next up, yeah, this is pretty much what I'm talking about when it comes to the collections. I found this for dirt cheap at a second-hand shop. Now this is the orange box. This is from Valve. It's got Half-Life 2, it's got Episode 2 and Episode 3. No, Episode 1 is Episode 2 of Half-Life 2. So you got the Half-Life game on here. Fortress 2, that was an online game if I'm not mistaken. But the real gem on this collection is Portal. I don't know if you guys have ever played Portal. I think it's one of the most zaniest and most creative games I've ever played. I played through it. And some of the missions get really hard because you have to sort of keep in mind what the game teaches you about gravity and basically the mechanics of the game is you just shoot 2 portals and you go through them, and these 2 portals are the only thing that you need to use to complete these tasks. And I have to say that the AI on this game is really funny. She's I think Glanos is her name, and she just comments through the whole time while you're doing the missions and stuff, telling you like you suck at this, and it's really interesting. That I haven't played anything like it, so I'm really looking out for Portal 2 now. That's one of the games that I still need to get on that. Another collection, Silent Hill 2 and 3. Now there's a lot of controversy around this HD remastered copy. Under the voices, some of the music. Yeah, I'll do a video about Silent Hill, and I'll just like review these 2 games in hindsight. I mean, it's almost about 10 years that Konami released this HD. They got a lot of flack for it, and I do understand, you know, from playing some of the games, I do understand where the dissatisfaction with the Silent Hill HD remasters has been. I could see it in the game. Personally, why I got this is I just can't pay those prices for these 2 games on the PlayStation 2. So it was just a lot cheaper to buy the Silent Hill collection, and you know, you'll get sort of the same experience of Silent Hill. So you know, it's not going to be a perfect experience like on PlayStation 2, but I'll make a video about it, and then we can talk about Silent Hill. But yeah, that's another collection there. I found this disc. I don't know where the case is. It's Fallout New Vegas. I haven't played a lot of Fallout. I played the 76, and I think I played what's the other one? Fallout 3, I think. So I like the Fallout. I like the Fallout series. It's quite cool, and I'll keep this one. I'll play it at some point. I'll play New Vegas. All right, down to the last ones. Binary Domain. Lots of people talk about this game as a very underrated gem, so I picked this up for quite cheap. I haven't played much of it yet, but it looks like it's a lot of fun. There's certain elements introduced in it. I know they had the voice command thing that didn't really work, but they also have this mechanic, which is kind of the same thing in the thing on the PlayStation 2, where you have to sort of take care of the morale of your team and sort of just be like a leader and get your guys out alive, kind of thing. So that's Binary Domain right there. And then Ratchet and Clank. Now I have never played Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation 2. Somehow I missed those games. But I know Tools of Destruction is probably not the best title. And I know people say it's few and far between the Ratchet and Clank games on the PlayStation 3, but it's so much fun. You know, most nights I want to sit in front of the TV without my mind. I want to park my mind outside and just sort of escape from reality. And sometimes, you know, some of these other games are a little bit too serious. So Ratchet and Clank sort of fills that hole for me. I'm really into this game. I love the weapons, and it's just, you know, it's just basically running around and shooting aliens. It's such a good time. So I'm looking for more of the Ratchet and Clank games. I'm really gonna start up a collection for that because it's so much fun. And just for those nights when I'm just sitting and I just want to play something mindless, I mean, Ratchet and Clank falls right into that vein. All right, so the last game, I'm actually playing this right now. Dante's Inferno. This game is crazy. It's very much in the vein of something like God of War. And what I like about this game, it gives you what you need in the beginning. It quickly just shows you what you need to do. It gives you a whole array of different kinds of weapons that you can use and magic and stuff. And it's just balls to the wall. You know, it throws enemies at you, and it's just... I'm really having a good time with this game. It's definitely not a kid's game. It's got some nudity and some heavy violence, but so I can't play this when the kids are around the day, so I have to wait till nighttime to pop this in. But this game is just crazy, and I'm really enjoying it. I've also got some other games that's on its way that I've ordered. And like I said, you know, it's with this console specifically, the games are what really draws me in. You know, I've built up quite a collection. You know, the thing is, I've built up quite a collection in not a lot of time and not a lot of money. So what I do is I'll buy like collections, PlayStation 3 collections from people. I'll keep the titles that I want and sell off the rest, and then I'll just use that money to sort of buy newer titles or titles I'm really after. So it's pretty much just a self-sustainable hobby. You can really increase your gaming library and sort of, you know, give it a lot of weight and the different kind of titles that are out there. I mean, I'm also looking still for something like MotorStorm, the Pacific Rift one. I really want to see what those games are all about. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much my collection. And as I said, I've really fallen in love with this console. It's provided me with countless hours of just crazy entertainment. And the thing is with PlayStation 3, with exclusive and later in the life cycle, and specifically now, is the fact that there's so many games that you can pick up right now. Everybody's paying attention to the PlayStation 2, and it just feels like everybody's missing the PlayStation 3. It just affords me the opportunity to satisfy that collector in me, you know, because I've gotten to a lot of points now where I have to sort of stop collecting this, stop collecting that, because the prices increase and it's just not viable anymore. Whereas I feel the PlayStation 3 at the moment is sort of being overlooked by most. And next year will mark the 20th anniversary. So I always feel like with these benchmark anniversaries of certain things, you know, popularity in those things tend to go up. So I'm kind of feeling like, you know, this is like the last year that I'm really going to be able to pick up PlayStation 3 games at a very good price. And yeah, that's kind of my thinking behind that. But it's really sort of satisfying the collector in me as well, having the console and collecting these games on the cheap. So I'm really excited about that. You know, like I said, I'm waiting for some more games that I've ordered, and just to increase my game playing library. I mean, you know, a stack like this, I don't know, 20 games. How long is that going to keep you busy? I mean, it's just insane, and I think it's really why people are looking at the vintage consoles. You know, because there's still so many games out there to play. And a big problem with the newer consoles, like the PlayStation 5 at the moment, there's really not a lot of games on there, and you're going to have to spend a lot of money to actually sort of build a collection there. So when it comes to hard copies collecting, PlayStation 3 I think is where it's at the moment, and I don't think it's going to last very long because you know, digital media is really integrating into the gaming system right now, so physical copies are disappearing. I've seen some of the local places where I usually shop for games, you know, the physical media is just, you'll still find some CDs and DVDs, but the games are completely vanished. So it's kind of concerning in that regard. And the fact is, wherever these games are being stashed, you know, nobody's looking out for them. Nobody's out there to go and find them. So I think it's really something that's overlooked, especially in my country at the moment. I don't know in other countries at the moment. And for me personally, it's just really satisfying my collector's itch at the moment. And yeah, I'm gonna have to start taking it easy a little bit, because I get so obsessed. I get really obsessed, and I just want more and more and more. So I'm moving very close to the precipice where I have to tell myself, no, whoa, all right, enough now, enough. But yeah, guys, that's just one obsessed collector's PlayStation 3 collection. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below which games I should be looking out for. Are there any gems that I have missed? I did not mention in this video, so please drop down in the comments below. I really like to see what you guys think. And I really think, you know, guys, getting a PlayStation 3 now is just, the console's not that expensive, and collecting for the games, I mean, yes, graphically it's probably not as good as the stuff right now, but the thing is, I think graphics are probably ruining people's perception of what it is to have fun and just playing games, you know. And I think the PlayStation 3 is really that sweet spot at this minute. You know, it's cheap entertainment. You pick up a console, you pick up some games, and you can play for hours. It's just a great console to get into right now, pretty much. Yeah, so I'm just babbling at this point, and I think it's probably a good idea to end this video right here. Guys, thanks very much for checking in and checking out this video. Please drop a like. And if you have not yet subscribed, please, I would urge you to do so. It'll help me out a lot. We're on 100 subscribers, and I would like to increase and grow this community. So guys, thanks very much for watching this video today. I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you again next week. Cheers.